Hi trainers, how's it going? I'm Teeds. A while ago, I talked about a Pokemon who is in the data mine files, but we didn't really hear anything about it for a long time until now, and that is Buzzwell. Buzzwell has finally reappeared in the data mine files after what seemed like forever. It is the next bug type to enter Pokemon Unite, making it the second bug type after Crustle. Buzzwell is confirmed to be an all-rounder. Still no signs of a speedster, by the way, so I am very sad, but... So this is from our Chico Eevee, and a quick disclaimer, things can always be changed until Pokemon Unite officially releases it themselves, so please take it with a grain of salt. For the question of the day, if you could have a bug type in Pokemon Unite, who would it be? I'd like to have Caterpie.
Look, it's a Caterpie. Caterpie, yeah.
Let's start with Buzzwell's passive, Beast Boost. When this Pokemon knocks out or assists in knocking out a Pokemon from the opposing team, its movement speed and basic attack speed increase for a short time. Also, each time this Pokemon hits opposing Pokemon with basic attacks or certain moves, its muscle gauge charges. Conversely, when the Pokemon is not in combat, the muscle gauge depletes by 1 muscle gauge increments when a set amount of time passes. Up to 0 muscle gauge increments? It's a bit confusing, sorry, and it can be stored. So you can store a number of them, it seems. I don't know how much exactly. This is really interesting. So Buzzwell literally does boost itself when it KOs or assists, and it also increases its muscle gauge. Since it's muscle gauge, I'm assuming it has something to do with more power. Okay, so for Buzzwell's basic attack, each time a basic attack hits an opposing Pokemon, the muscle gauge charges by increments, becomes a boosted attack with every third attack, throwing 2 consecutive punches while restoring the user's health. So this Pokemon's boosted attack gives you health back, and it throws 2 consecutive punches. That sounds pretty strong. One of its starting moves is Mega Punch. Has the user move in the designated direction before slamming the ground with a powerful punch. The shock from the punch deals damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. If this move hits Pokemon from the opposing team, the user's muscle gauge increases by increments for each one that was hit. The cooldown for this is also 5 seconds. That's a really low cooldown. You can then upgrade this move into either Lunge. Has a user lunge in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon and decreasing their attack for a short time. If this move hits Pokemon from the enemy team, the user's muscle gauge increases by increments for each one that was hit. After this move is used, the user's basic attack speed increases for a short time. A maximum of 1 use can be kept in reserve for this move. The cooldown is 1 second? 1 second? What? I don't think there is one Pokemon that has a 1 second cooldown, but this can't be right? 1 second? With Lunge Plus upgrade, whenever this move hits Pokemon from the opposing team, the user's attack increases for a short time. The more Pokemon from the opposing team are hit, the more the user's attack increases. Buzzwell sounds really scary. Like, insanely scary. The other move you can then upgrade into is Smackdown. Has the user deliver an uppercut punch to an opposing Pokemon in the designated direction, dealing damage to it and throwing it into the air. While the thrown Pokemon is airborne, the user can use this move again to perform a follow-up attack that smacks that Pokemon down to the ground, dealing damage to all opposing Pokemon in an area of effect centered on the Smackdown Pokemon. If the user does not follow up the initial uppercut attack, the opposing Pokemon will fall to the ground on its own. If this occurs, damage is still dealt to all opposing Pokemon in the area of effect centered on the point of impact. If this move deals damage to Pokemon on the opposing team, the user's muscle gauge increases by 0 increments for each one that was hit. Oh, it increases by depending on each one you hit. So this move has crowd control. You can also, like, I don't know, if you're being chased or something, you can smack down them and it'll leave them up in the air for a little bit if you're not going to bring them down yourself. It also does damage to surrounding Pokemon, so great for team fights. Sounds pretty scary. This has a 7.5 second cooldown. Smackdown Plus widens the area of effect in which damage is dealt when the opposing Pokemon targeted by this move hits the ground. Also, the muscle gauge will now increase by increments depending for each Pokemon on the opposing team that takes damage from this move. So we get like a bigger radius, which is going to be really scary, and it also increases the muscle gauge for more. The other starting move is Fell Stinger, consumes the entire muscle gauge and has the user deal damage to an opposing Pokemon in the designated direction. This move deals more damage the more muscle gauge increments are consumed. If this move knocks out any opposing Pokemon, the user recovers health. So this move also gives you sustain. It is a starting move though. It has an 8 second cooldown, but it consumes all of your muscle gauge, which means you will deal more damage. That sounds like a really powerful starting move. Like, it sounds pretty, like the early game so far sounds pretty insane. You can then upgrade this into Leech Life. Oh my gosh, they have Leech Life. Has the user grab and restrain an opposing Pokemon in the designated direction, dealing damage over time while restoring the user's health. When this move is used, it consumes the user's entire muscle gauge. The number of hits and the amount of damage dealt per hit increases the more muscle gauge increments are consumed. This move ends if the user becomes unable to act for any reason, or if the restrained Pokemon escapes by using an eject button or through some other means. Oh my god, they actually mentioned eject button in this. The cooldown of this is 9 seconds. So this one also consumes the entire muscle gauge. The consumption of muscle gauge increments depend on the number of hits and the amount of damage you deal. And it has health restoration, and you also have your boosted attack health restoration. Slap a focus band on this Pokemon as well, because apparently this Pokemon just has heals for days. Oh my gosh. It seems like it does a ton of damage and it heals a lot. I'm kind of scared. When Leech Life is upgraded, it also causes each instance of damage dealt by this move to be stronger than the last. Oh my gosh. I'm scared. The other move you can upgrade into is Super Power. It consumes the entire muscle gauge and has the user run in the designated direction and grab an opposing Pokemon. The user then slams the opposing Pokemon down to the ground at full strength, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. The damage dealt by this move and the shield effects it grants increases the more muscle gauge increments are consumed. This has a 7.5 second cooldown, and when upgraded, it resets the cooldown of this move when the user's muscle gauge reaches its maximum. Resets the cooldown? Wait, so basically your first movesets that you have, that's how you farm muscle gauge, and then your second moveset that you have, that's how you consume them. This Pokemon sounds fun, insane, and scary. The Unite move is Ultra Swole Slam, has the user fly at high speed, dealing damage to all opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. Afterward, the user targets the opposing Pokemon with the lowest percentage of health among those hit and charges down at it from the sky, dealing damage once again to that Pokemon. So it's basically a scarier fly from Talonflame, except not really. Trainers, this Pokemon sounds insane. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds pretty crazy. It sounds like it does a lot of damage. It sounds like it has a lot of health restoration. The worst combination is a Pokemon that deals damage and is unkillable. It's the worst combination. It's scary, so I don't know how to feel about this right now. Maybe it just sounds really scary. I mean, like, you know, Azumarill sounded really scary as well, but then it ended up not being as strong as we thought. Buzzwell sounds insane. Okay, so that is all for the Buzzwell video. Thank you so much for watching, trainers. I also have a video about the next new attacker, and I have another video shortly coming up with some great news. Feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified. Like the video if you want a new speedster. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.